There's still a line of police cars here on Blackstone blocking off the sidewalk. But if you look over here, you can see it's because they are still actively investigating what happened. There are firefighters actively putting out hot spots right on the other side of our road. As we've been standing here, we see PG&E going by. Still see where the train and the truck collided. Right now, crews are actually on the scene doing some work. The sheriff is understandably devastated. He's heartbroken that this is the update that they are learning tonight. We have homes like this one that even though it's sitting right in the middle of the burn scar, it's untouched by the flames. But if you look across the street at their neighbor's property, you could see how some people just weren't as lucky. There's still flames on the ground here because of how far along Nakaya Logan was in her pregnancy. Her brother Dudley could be charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. The tree behind me was in flames completely top to bottom earlier, but since then crews have come in and started extinguishing the bulk of a lot of the big flames that we've seen. And the past 30 minutes or so, we've been seeing them work on cutting this fire line. We are going to see lots of rain this weekend, and with rain in the valley, that means snow up in the Sierra Nevada. So expect some low visibilities, but overall, even before the dense fog advisory starts, do expect some widespread haze tonight later on once the sun really starts to go down. New tonight, there were some scary moments for swimmers trying to beat the heat at Skaggs Bridge this afternoon. A Fresno pastor has a different idea of what makes a Thanksgiving meal something to give thanks for. It was a terrifying morning across northern Mississippi. An airline employee stole a small plane from the Tupelo airport. Yeah, we just got word that this shelter, because so many people were coming in, they set up another shelter just down the road at the EV Free Church in Oakhurst. They're still working on getting all of those details together, but the people here at the Red Cross say they're trying to make this as comfortable for the families who are coming in to stay here tonight. They say they have fans, they have air conditioning, and they have plenty of water. As the Fork Fire continues to burn in the North Fork area of Madera County, dozens of people living near the fire have left their neighborhoods and are hoping their homes are still standing when they come back. Taylor Poisel with the Red Cross says they've opened their evacuation shelter for people forced to get out. She says they're helping dozens of families and their pets.
Water, snacks, it's a cool place to go because a lot of the evacuees didn't have power or they needed to evacuate because this is a really fast-moving fire and they needed a safe place to go.
CAL FIRE Deputy Chief Chris Trindade says the Fork Fire started as 4 separate smaller fires off of Road 222, starting at 1 acre each, but growing rapidly. He says the fire jumped to 50 acres in just the first 15 minutes.
We're getting spot fires outside of our lines pretty regularly, and we just can't get enough resources to get around them at the moment.
The heat and rough terrain from the drought making the grueling firefight even more difficult. Firefighters equipped with pounds of heavy gear are trying to put out the fire in triple-digit heat.
And then obviously our temperatures that we have today and the humidity being so dry out, our firefighters are just exerting themselves beyond means.
Now, when it comes to that triple-digit heat and just the heat in general these past few weeks, the firefighters are exhausted. So we are still standing by to hear more updates from CAL FIRE, whether or not any of those firefighters have been treated for heat-related illnesses. We will update you when we get that information. Live in Oakhurst tonight, Katherine Phillips, KSEE 24, local news that matters. It's only been a few hours since the shooting happened, but neighbors have already started making a memorial for the baby. It's right here on the corner of Q and West 12th Street, and it's where we caught up with the baby's mother. She was very shaken up. She came here to look at the memorial, and she told us that her son's name was Darius, and he was only 9 months old.
We're trying to piece this together to figure out, what happened with this tragedy.
Merced police officers carry away a stroller as part of Wednesday's homicide investigation. Lieutenant Joy Perez says a baby was shot around 12:30 in the afternoon. Initially, they believed the baby, now identified as Darius King Grigsby, was 7 months old. They've released this picture of the child.
Nobody obviously wants to kill a 7-month-old baby, but obviously there was some type of motive behind it. We're trying to figure that out.
Perez says dispatchers got a call from a woman telling 911 her baby had been shot. He adds the woman, along with her boyfriend, were walking down Q Street with baby Darius in a stroller. He says at least one shot was fired from a car, not hitting anyone but the infant.
The mother, she was frantic. She picked up the child and ran to the McDonald's looking for help, and that's when the officers responded.
Perez says baby Darius died at the hospital, and now the search for the suspect suspect begins. We spoke off camera with baby Darius's mother as she stopped to look at the growing memorial. While fighting back tears, she told us about her son and how she's devastated. Neighbor Edith Gonzalez says she heard the shooting happen. She's heartbroken, but now concerned about safety in the neighborhood.
But the baby had no fault in it, so it's tough.
At this time, Merced police have not released any information about a suspect in this case or what kind of car the suspect might have been driving. They say if you do have any information, to give them a call. Reporting in Merced, Katherine Phillips, CBS 47 Eyewitness News. The former congressman pled not guilty to all of the 28 charges he's facing. If he's convicted of all of the charges, he potentially could spend 55 years in prison. Facing 28 different federal fraud charges, former United States Congressman T.J. Cox walked out of the Fresno County Jail Tuesday afternoon after entering a not guilty plea. The Democrat once served parts of Fresno, Tulare, Kings, and Kern counties in the United States Congress before losing to Republican David Valadao in 2020. Now Cox is facing 15 counts of wire fraud, 11 counts of money laundering, 1 count of campaign contribution fraud, and 1 count of financial institution fraud.
Well, we knew that there were some investigations from last summer. We didn't really know what they were into.
As of this afternoon, when he left the jail, Cox told us he hadn't read the indictment yet. He tells us while in jail Tuesday, he had time to reflect. The Department of Justice alleges Cox was involved in various financial schemes ranging from 2013 to 2019. The indictment says he's accused of laundering money through defrauding companies and clients he was affiliated with through his own businesses. In a statement from the DOJ, they say, quote, Cox illicitly obtained over $1.7 million in diverted client payments and company loans and investments he solicited and then stole. The 29-page indictment also says he received mortgage loans from a lender by submitting multiple false documents to the lender, including fabricated bank statements. The document also shows Cox is alleged to have obtained a fraudulent $1.5 million construction loan to develop in the Granite Park area. The indictment says one of his companies would guarantee the loan, which the DOJ says was false, causing the loan to go into default, eventually causing a loss of $1,280,000. During his campaign for Congress in 2018, the indictment says he allegedly had a scheme to reimburse family and friends who donated to his campaign. They say he received up to $25,000 in illegal donations. If convicted of all of the 28 charges, he could go to prison for 55 years and pay $1.5 million in fines.
We served for a couple of years. We got a lot done for the city and for this region, and hopefully that'll continue under people that are looking to serve the people. But I tell you what, politics is a tough game. I wouldn't be in this position today but for the politics, and I think we all know that.
He's expected to be back in court on October 12th. He didn't have a bail. Instead, he was released on conditions given by the judge during his arraignment. Reporting in the studio, Katherine Phillips, KSEE 24, local news that matters.